All right, so I started installing the pickups onto my pick guard. I am installing Seymour Duncan Antiquity 2 single coil pickups into this Strat pick guard here. When you get the pickups, they're gonna have these screws already into place, and those screws are gonna look like this. These particular pickups have this little rubber ring around it that helps with height adjustment of the pickups. Height adjustment is really important. You don't want the pickup to sit too high. You also don't want it to sit too low. You want to get it like Goldilocks, just right there. The screws are into place. I'll flip this over here. You can see how those rubber bands, those rubber rings, just put those right back on over top of those screws once they're in before we put the pickup in. So the next thing we're gonna do is screw that pickup into place here. All right, so now we got that pickup in place. You see it's not exactly too high or too low. If I wanna alter that later, I can just go in, heighten it by tightening the screws here, or lower it by loosening the screws there. So you can see that rubber ring there is just holding right in place. You see that's right in between the pick guard and the pickup here. So I got one more that I'm gonna add. One thing you can kind of notice, this is gonna be interesting. Again, I'm very new to this. So the height of our magnets here is a little bit different. These pickups are of course made for a guitar that's gonna be right-handed. Mine's gonna be backwards since I play kind of backwards. So we're gonna see what that actually sounds like. I don't think it's gonna make too much of a difference here, but we'll find out. So this is the wiring that I'm gonna be using inside this guitar. This is specially made left-handed. This is from Smoky BS Pickups. What we got here is a 500K CTS, an Oak Grisby 5-way switch here for a 3-pickup guitar. Standard on a Strat is gonna have 250K. This is 500K, which is really supposed to help bring out the high end, really good for humbucker pickups, but also really high-powered, kind of brighter single coils. So I'm kind of curious to see how this is all going to sound. This is what's going to go under the pick guard and in the guitar. All right, so we got the paint shaken up. I got the guitar here. Got this kind of suspended sitting on an old guitar stand, top of a small table that's covered. We got the door open just to get some ventilation in here. You want to get some good airflow. All right, we're going to do our first coat on the body as well as the headstock on the guitar. Okay, there we go. We got our headstock here. All right, so this is several hours and about 6 coats of paint later. This is the color that I'm going with for the body, as well as over here, the headstock, which you can see, I got that covered up. The color that I went with here, this is based on Washington National City Connect colors. This one is called Silver Slate. I got this paint, this was custom made by a really great company called myperfectcolor.com. You can go on there, find out whatever color codes you need. For this was an RGB of 91, 93, 98. So I'm gonna let this dry for about a week before I put a clear coat on it and really lacquer it up and make it look nice and shiny and smooth. Just for comparison for that color, you can see, this is a little Nationals ice cream hat here. They sell you at the stadium for probably an arm and a leg. You can see about how similar that color is. So I'm going to let that dry and then probably do a little bit more to it before I put the clear coat on, which I'll be doing next week. And that's going to dry for a good few weeks or so before this little Partscaster I'm putting together here is complete. So the pickups are soldered, knobs and switch cover are in place here. I'm going to go ahead and take the bridge, which very clearly is not bolted on. Take this off here. Just finished this up. The white wires here from our pickups are going here to our 5-way switch. Again, if I haven't mentioned it 1,000 times, this is left-handed, so the setup's going to be backwards. The bridge pickup, it's the one here on the right, that is connected to that right there, second from the left. Middle is our bridge, and to the right here, the one that's in the front, that is the neck pickup that we got there. Black cables are ground. That's what's going right here. It's grounded here to the volume knob. This is the underside of the pick guard here. It has all of our electronics. This is what's going to go in. Kind of starting to see it take shape here. Get an idea of what the colors are going to look like. So at this point, the part that I'm dreading most, which is going to be drilling the holes. There are going to be two rather wide, rather large holes that are going to go about here and here for the 2-point tremolo, which is the type of bridge this is. I really like the 2-point tremolos because those are the only ones I've played on. The other option is the 6-point, where you have 6 smaller screws that go in through here. Going to have the screws back here for the tremolo claw. I'm going to be using an airline drill bit that's going to be 1/8 inch. Airline's basically it's a 12-inch long drill bit that's going to be used so we can get the drill back here and go right in this way, because obviously a handheld drill is not going to fit right here in this small cavity. So I will probably do those two next, and then that I can just get it over with and do the scary ones, which are going to be the anchors. The wide holes are going to be about 3/8 of an inch and are going to go right here for the tremolo screws. Alright, so this will be my first time drilling into the body here. I haven't done any lacquer, obviously. A little nervous, I haven't done anything with the body yet in terms of drilling. To do this, what this is for, this is going to be to put the tremolo claw, which attaches here, is held in place by screws that don't go all the way in. There's going to be springs that latch onto that tremolo claw that are going to hook to the bottom of the bridge, which will be roughly right here. I'm using in what's called an airline drill bit. This is about 1 foot long, so that I can come in. It's going to be at a little bit of an angle. There's no way to get around that, so I can go right in here and at as minimal of an angle as possible, drill the holes I need to be able to put the screws in for the tremolo claw. So managed to get this drilled in. The airline bit worked. Now eventually there's going to be 3 springs right here that are going to go hook onto the bridge once that goes in. All right, this is the moment I'm dreading. I'm drilling the holes here to put the anchors in, which are these guys. I already have the screw in here. I'm going to take that out when I push the anchor through, assuming all goes well. I started these 2 smaller holes just kind of as a guide to get going. I'm going to very carefully tape, as I did for the smaller one here, how far down in that drill needs to go to get it right. As I've mentioned before, maybe I don't have a drill press. I'm doing this with a drill block and a hand drill. Well, drilled them in there. Looks like everything's aligned pretty well so far, until it wasn't like completely perfect on the surface right here. That is because I started by drilling a small hole using a 1/8 inch drill bit. I tried to jump straight to the 3/8, and I could tell right away something was a little bit wrong. I could feel a little bit of this wood start to chip, so I immediately canceled. I went through every single level of this drill block from 1/8 to 3/16, 1/4, 5/16, and 3/8. You know, kind of gradually making a bigger hole each time until the one that was a 3/8 still took some finesse, but got it through there, and it looks pretty straight. So of course this isn't something you can just eyeball. I'm going to apply some paraffin to these anchors now to make them go in a little bit easier, and then I'm going to use a mallet that I have right over here, along with wood block, a little piece of wood, which is pretty big, sitting on top of the anchor, and I'm going to use the mallet on that to try to drive these in. Alright, well, the part I dreaded most appears to be done. Got these pivot screw anchors in. I don't know if it's exactly perfect, but it looks pretty good. Again, not a perfect job in terms of the finish, which is why I wanted to wait to do the lacquer. Fortunately, these parts are going to be covered. Overall, for a first time doing this, I'm pretty happy with how it came out. So I'm going to take these screws off here. I'm going to cover these because I got to still apply lacquer to this. I don't want any lacquer dripping into these anchors.
Yeah.